refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running, toes they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, everybody. Everybody, welcome to another episode of RBO. Your boy Vaughn is back. It's been 2 weeks since I've been on the screen. I apologize to all my peoples. You know, your boy just got married. Your man hubby now. He a husband now. You feel me? Fresh off the honeymoon. But it's time to talk some NBA, man. We in the second round of playoffs. We have one series that's already finished, and we got another series that just might be done the next game. You feel me? But the other series are kind of close. You know, you have the Pistons and the Cavs, 2-1 Pistons up. You had the Spurs and the Timberwolves knotted up at 2. The Knicks swept the Sixers, sadly. And then you have last OKC up 3-0 against the Lakers, looking to close them out their next game. Before we get started and talking about these topics, I want you guys to look down low in my description, and I have a link to become a member and become a family member of this R2L family. We also have every show down low that's a part of the R2L community that talks different sports, and they're linked down low as well. Make sure you check all those guys out. They're very knowledgeable on their subjects. Very, very knowledgeable. You will not be disappointed. Also, like, subscribe, and share this with anybody that's a huge NBA fan, because we are still live in this playoff run. And shout out to my boy Blaze. He said the ratings are higher from last year, and he gave all the credit to Wemby. You know, shout out to Wemby. He's a guy that you want to see play. 7'6", can do everything. But, it's a little bit more to it than that. We have, the Peacock NBC deal that has definitely brought back a lot of viewers. But, the NBA is in a good space, if you ask me. You got a lot of young talent out there showing that they have a lot to offer for these people, for the fans. So let's just dive right into what we're going to talk about today. We got our first comment from Bob Jimmy. How you doing, Bob? Glad to have you here. We're about to go ahead and dive right into this first topic. Just recently, we just had the lottery yesterday, and shout out to the Washington Wizards. I'm from DC, so a lot of people that I know are very hyped. They won the lottery, and they got the first round pick. So they got the first overall pick. Shout out to the Wizards, man. That is a big deal, especially after they made the moves that they made this past year. Trading for a guy like Trae Young, trading for a guy like Anthony Davis. They're making moves to put themselves in place to compete. And then, we all know about how all the teams started to tank, and it paid off for this Wizards team. So let's just look quickly at this first round. First off, we have the Wizards. They have AJ projected going number 1, but there's a video going out showing AJ being a bit disappointed, him landing that the number 1 pick landed on the Wizards because he says he's been number 1 all his life, and of course he wants to go number 1. Now, everybody heard about how BYU was in Utah. They heard about how the owner has had some connections with AJ, and a lot of people want to see AJ in Utah. I know I saw I forgot the coach's name that used to coach, the black guy used to coach the Mavericks. He was a decent coach, but he had said that if he was the Jazz, he's trying everything he can to get that number 1 pick from the Wizards. And to be honest, the Jazz have a lot of assets that they can give if they really, really want that number 1 pick. But if I'm the Wizards, me personally, shout out to my boy Devin. I texted him this morning when I found out that they got the number 1 pick, and he said, to be honest, I like AJ. I think AJ is a beast. I think he's like that. But if he doesn't want to play for the Wizards, we don't really want him. We want guys that want to play for us, guys that want to do good for the city, not guys that they're here just because they got to be here. So I heard that the Wizards are going to entertain some trades offers and see what they can do, because if this draft is pretty deep, there's a couple of guys that you can pick up, and you will not be, if you trade back and get more picks, more assets, you can still get a really good player, especially since you got guys like Trae Young and AD, where you don't really need a guy that just comes and carry the whole team. You just need a guy that can complement those guys and help take the team to another level. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Wizards trade back in the draft and get some assets just to get assets and to pick a player that fits them more. So number 2, we have the Utah Jazz, and they have Darren Peterson projected as the number two pick. This is a very deep draft, man. I think like the first 4 to 5 picks, you really, you're going to be in a good spot. You can't really mess it up, to be quite honest, because these are some really good players. Now, number 3, we have, which is really good for this team after trading Jaren Jackson, we have the Memphis Grizzlies at number 3. And right now, they currently have Cameron Boozer as the 3rd projected overall pick. To be quite honest, I think Caleb Wilson should be drafted before him. And no, it's not because I am a Tar Heel fan. I just think he has more upside. I think he's more athletic. I do think that Boozer at this very moment is a little more skilled. I think he can put the ball on the floor a little better as far as creating his own shot. But Caleb Wilson at the 4 position reminds me of a young Kevin Garnett. Can defend very well, has a high motor, high energy, can dunk on any and everybody, has a pretty smooth midi, nice jump shot. And, on the fast break, he's a one-man wrecking ball. Like, he can go coast to coast and dunk on you at any time. So I think having him paired up with a guy like Ja Morant, I think that would be very dangerous for the league. That's if they are keeping Ja Morant. But I really do like Caleb Wilson with the Grizzlies. But if he falls at number 4 to the Bulls, shout out my boy Big O, I'm not mad at that neither. Got a point guard like Josh Giddey out there, diming the ball out. I think that, and you have Buzelis at the 3. He can slash and do a little bit of everything. Him and Caleb Wilson will add to their defense, which they don't have that much shot blocking, but adding Wilson will definitely help them out a lot. So at 3 and 4, they have Cameron Boozer and Caleb Wilson going, which in my opinion, I do think Caleb Wilson is a better prospect than Boozer. Not saying Boozer is a scrub, because I think Boozer was one of the better players in college, but I think a lot of it was not just his skill, it was his size. He was able to bully a lot of people. But this is NBA, my boy. Everybody's strong. So we're going to see how he translates there. Next, and I spoke about this later in a later episode when I said the Pacers lost the trade deadline, man. Of course, they picked up a good, solid center in Zubac. He's decent, in my opinion. But I think the Pacers are more of an up-and-down run-and-gun team, and that's not really Zubac's game. He's not an up-and-down run-and-gun lob threat type of guy. He is a double-double machine, and I think he's a solid center. But the Clippers ended up stealing the number 5 overall pick, and they got Mathurin off of them, who's been playing pretty well for the Clippers since he's been there. So with Wagner, with Kawhi, Darius Garland, that's a nice 3. Then you pick up at 5, they have Keaton Wagler from Illinois is going. 6'6" point guard, can do a little bit of everything. I'm not mad at that pick, to be quite honest. But with a guy like Darius Garland and him at the 1 and 2, I think that'd be a pretty good punch with a guy like Kawhi. But to be quite honest, I think they should try to address. They don't have a solid big for real. Now, if they can move up to get a Caleb Wilson, I think that'd be very good for them. But I highly doubt a team like the Bulls or the Grizzlies will move on from the bigs, because those two teams really don't have bigs. Vucevic got traded away, and I just told you that Jaren Jackson also got traded away. So I don't see them really giving up their draft, position, because Caleb Wilson and Cameron Boozer can help both those teams out a lot. Then next at 6, we have the Brooklyn Nets, which I think, the Nets, the Nets, it's like you're in that spot where you can get a player, but I think you need more than just this player. And right now they have Darius Acuff going there. I'm on I looked at a couple different mock drafts, and a lot of them had Darius Acuff going there. He's reminds everybody of Dame as far as scoring ability. He can put the ball in the hoop. He's a pretty good player, man. He showed up big time, had a lot of big time performances in college. And I think that would be a really good pickup for them, matching him with Michael Porter Jr. You still got Nick Claxton, who's a decent center down there. And, you just build from that. Then you have the Kings at 7. Shout out to Joe. He's the founder of R2L. He's a Kings fan, been holding it down since the early 2000s. And they got them projected to get Kingston Flemings out of Houston, who's a pretty solid point guard, has good size at 6'4", 190. He can do a little bit of everything with the ball. He had a lot of big-time games in college as well. I think that would be a solid pickup. They don't really have a legit – they had Westbrook. To be honest, the Kings just got to figure some things out, man. They got to figure some things out. They're really in that position right now. Then I'm just going to round out the top 15 or the 14, the lottery. And at 8, they have the Pelicans at 8. We have the Mavericks at number 9. Then you have the Bucks at 10. And I think this is a guy, and he's a 6'10" power forward, but he plays like a guard. And I hear that they're trying to get rid of Giannis. So maybe they're trying to make way and make him the new Giannis or whatever they're trying to do. But maybe they're trying to move up in the draft as well, because this is a pretty good draft where a guy like Giannis, a team like, let's see who would take that chance. A team like the Clippers, if they get a Giannis with Kawhi, that can be dangerous. I'm not gonna lie, because I did just say that the Clippers need a big man, and they just gave away their big man. That would be pretty dangerous. So look out and see if Giannis gets traded before the draft or it's going to be after the draft. And then you have at 11, you have the Golden State Warriors, which I think is pretty good. They need to get somebody good. Somebody. They got them getting, I think, Adai Mara from Michigan. He's a 7'3" center. Pretty good. They got Porzingis right now, but last time they had a good center, I do not know. Andrew Bogut was probably the best center they had in the past couple years, and that doesn't say much. So them just picking up more help for Steph, because Steph and Draymond, they're on the way out. You need to start finding young talent to take over. I don't think Pods is the guy. He finally had his first 30-point game, I think, his whole career. And Steph and Draymond, well, Steph ain't been playing for real. Jimmy Butler been out. So I think the Warriors should really try to take advantage of this and try to get young. Then you have at number 12, which is ridiculous, the OKC Thunder. And they're getting Yaxel from this projection. Yaxel out of Michigan, 6'9", power forward, can do a little bit of everything, plays with he's a fierce competitor. I think he is him being there would be a really good fit. He's an excellent defender. I think he has a lot of upside in that category, and he plays with an edge. So I think he would fit right in with this team. And then we have Miami, and they got them getting, I think it's I always say his name wrong. Phelan. I think it's Phelan. He's nice, from Alabama, can get a bucket, got moves, got the step back, got the J, can play some ball. So I think that'll be a good pickup for them. Maybe they can move on from a guy like Tyler Hero finally and just try to do something different with a young buck. Because Tyler Hero, I feel like he is who he is. And then finally at 14, rounding out the lottery, you have the Charlotte Hornets. And they got them getting Cole Pete out of Arizona, power forward, 6'8". He's a undersized power forward, but he does play physical basketball. It's going to be interesting to see how his game translates in the NBA. I really want to see. I think he can really, if he focus, he's a good finisher. I can say that. Around the basket, he's pretty good. So if he can just make his living out of pick and rolls, getting boards, cleaning up, hustling, because if he does land on a team like the Hornets, we all know one thing, they're going to get them shots up. So if he can just eat off the glass, there will be opportunity for him if he ends up landing there. But, that was just a quick, update on the lottery. After that, the Bulls come right back at number 15. 16, you have the Grizzlies coming right back. Golly, 17. OKC comes right back on 17. This team is just ridiculous. Then right after that, you have the Hornets again. So the first 18 picks, you're going to see a couple of teams over again, So the draft, what date is the draft? Let me get y'all the date of the draft because I will be definitely watching that. I want to see what the Wizards are really going to do. The draft is on Tuesday, June 23rd. My apologies. And then also after that, it'll be the next day to finish it off. So we are eager to see who goes where. Number one, I think AJ is the best prospect in the draft. I think he has everything. He has the athleticism. He has the heart. He a great defender. Has the length. Has the size. He can score. He got moves. He can hit the J. He has really no weakness in his game. He can work on his handles a bit, but we're not looking for him to be out there Kyrie Irving people. You feel me? But yeah, that's the lottery right there, man. My reaction, I'm happy for the Wizards. Finally, a team that's actually trash got the first pick, because when the Hawks and the Mavericks got the first pick, it was ridiculous in my eyes. But shout out to the Wizards, man. Hopefully they don't mess this up. Do not mess this up, because you're in a prime position to really turn things around here in the nation capital. But that's all I had on the lottery right there, man. Let's get into these these series, man. First one, we're gonna talk about the sweep. New York Knicks sweep the 76ers. Man, shout out to my little bro J-Mo, man. I know he's tough time right now for the Sixers fans. You see the potential you have when you beat it to come back 3-1 against a team like Boston, but then you see how easily things can fall apart when you play a team like the Knicks. And shout out to the Knicks, man. They turned things around after going down 2-1 against the Hawks. They just put their foot on necks after that. I saw a post saying ever since Brunson father yelled at them, they got into it on the sideline, it's been different. I do want to give a shout out to Mike Brown. He's showing, he's maximizing with this series. I'll say he's maximizing on a skill set that Cat has, and that's his passing ability. He's averaging about 7.5 assists in that series, man. He hasn't played, the dominant brand of basketball that everybody's looking for consistently. He'll show you those in spurts, but him being able to, facilitate more has really opened up the floor for everybody. Jalen Brunson doesn't have to dominate the ball as much, and he still can get his. And then you have guys like OG who stepped up, played pretty well. But Mikal Bridges probably just had the best playoff series he had since being a Knick, averaging about 17.5 points. He played pretty well. And I think when the ball isn't stuck in one person's hand as much, I think that this is what you get, man. Basketball is a team sport. And I feel like you have to feel like you're involved, unless you're a guy like Tony Allen. Tony Allen don't care if he's shooting and scoring. He's just trying to lock up. You know what I'm saying? So, but Bridges, we always knew Bridges had some game, but no, we just want to see if he can continue this, because this Knicks team, they have the players to compete. They have the players to win. They just got to perform. And it starts with how the coaching is doing things. And I do like what he's doing with Cat. He's like, listen, this Cat is who he is. This Cat ain't trying to go down there and bang with the big dogs all day. He want to be on the wing. So if he's on the wing, what does that mean? The big man has to be on the wing. when I got the ball, it opens up the floor for cutters and all kinds of things. And he is a really good shooter. So let's talk about the Sixers really quick, man. Like I said, I think it's a tough time because Embiid, man. I really think Embiid is like it's like a love and hate thing with the Sixers. You know, if I was a Sixers fan, that's how I would feel because it seems like he slows the game down too much. You know, when he's out there, if he's not out there dogging, dropping 30 and 10 and 8, he ain't doing that. It's like you don't really need to play, bro, because he slows the game down so much. Tyrese Maxey, in my opinion, is the engine of this team, man. That dude can ball. He's electrifying. He cannot be shooting 4 shots at halftime. What are we doing? To start the game off, I'm picking and rolling, picking and popping with Embiid and Maxey first 5 plays. Maxey, you come off that pick, you do what you do. Embiid open a W, you know what I'm saying? We're going to set the tone early with Maxey because I'm telling you, he's one of the hardest guys to check in the league because he's so fast. But he had a pretty down series. But when you look at the series, the one game, the closest game that they had against the Knicks, Maxey shot the ball 23 times. He had like 26. They lost, you know what I'm saying? But it was a close game. Every other game, smacked up. So I think Embiid, I'm going to keep it real. I think it's time to figure something out, man. Either, you know, you can play, but going all through Embiid all day, every day, I don't think that's the best solution for this team, man. I think Embiid needs to, you know, be a big. Get some boards. Post up. You don't have to always bring the ball, you know, catch the ball up top and try to create. Like, that slows the game down so much to the point where it's like, now I'm just sitting waiting to see what they're going to do against Embiid. You feel me? Now, he is a good passer. He'll pass the ball out and things of that nature, but you see the difference in how this team plays when Embiid does play and when he don't play. And I think it might be time to have some discussions about this guy, man. So, another thing, what else? So, I think Maxey has to be more aggressive. You know, I think that if he's not aggressive, this Sixers team is not half of the team that they are. And shout out to Brunson, man. That's the thing, man. It's like the OKC Thunder. You have to have a good system, but you need that one player that you know going to come through night in and night out. And that's Jalen Brunson, man. He's going to come through and give you what he give you. Reminds me of SGA in a sense. So I just want to give a shout out to Brunson, man. I think he really is a premier guard in this league. He's one of the best, and I want to see the showdown between him and the Pistons again because a lot of people say they're scared of the Pistons. I just want to see how they going to act. I don't know if they're scared or not. I don't really care. I just want to see how they going to act. But that's that, man. You know, unfortunate for the Sixer fans. But I think that I think they need to lean on those 2 guards, man. VJ and Maxey, they bring it, man. I would rather lose on the court with those 2 than guys like Embiid, Paul George disappearing in the 4th. Like, we ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? We some young bucks and we ready to go. So that was that, though, man. You know, the Knicks got the dub. Now they're sitting and waiting on the Cavs. Speaking of the Cavs just won last game against the Pistons. But can the Cavs do it again? I'm one that said, you know, I like to trade when Harden. I think this is one of the better teams he's had that fits his skill set. He has a balling, a scoring wing on the side of him. Has 2 solid 7-footers that can catch lobs and things of that nature. And he has a couple other shooters around him. Sam Merrill is a shooter. Max Strus is a shooter. You know what I'm saying? So, but this team, it seems like the physicality is really getting to them. See, the Pistons remind me of OKC in this sense. You are not beating them if your big man's soft. You're just not. You're just not. Your big man got to have some heart. You got to play hard. And, you know, you just can't. You're not going to beat this team. You know, you got guys like Jalen Duren. Even though he hasn't played consistently well, like number-wise, he's physical. Thompson, he's a small forward, power forward. It's physical. And don't get me started on Isaiah Stewart. And, you know, the Pistons coming out of that series against my Orlando Magic, Oh Lord, that was so dreadful. I'm gonna have to definitely speak on that. It was just my wedding day when they beat us that first game, and I was honeymoon after that. So, but we definitely gonna dig into them boys for sure. Shout out to the front office for getting rid of Coach Mosley. I don't ever want to like say like I'm happy dude got fired, but I just don't think he was the guy. I think it's time. You blow a 3-1 lead up 19 at home. Come on, man. It's not no. Yeah. So, but the Cavs, I think this team is they're like, you don't know who's gonna win the series, man. Let me just say that. Right now, it's looking like the Pistons got them, but they can show some inconsistencies at times. Turn like Cade last game, I believe, had like 8 turnovers. Like that's just a little too much. James Harden, if he can consistently just this is my thing. You're not James Harden in Houston no more, bro. Just be a point guard. Be an elite point guard. You got 2 7-footers out there. You got shooters out there. When it's like you did come through last game in the fourth, I give you that. But Donovan Mitchell, that's your time to step up. You feel what I'm saying? You're the guy. This is your team. So it's time for you to step up, my boy, and get the job done. Evan Mobley. I really think that in order for this Cavs team to really take that next step, Evan Mobley has to get better. He has to get stronger. He has to be more of a force out there. I be watching the guy, I be forgetting he out there sometimes. I just see a tall, lanky dude running up and down the court. He likes shooting them threes now, though. I tell you that. So I just want to see him get a little more physical. James Harden folded not the game they won. Game before that, I mean, he couldn't do nothing. He couldn't hit a shot. He couldn't make a pass. He couldn't defend nobody. Like he had like 10 points. Like, what are we doing? It's the playoffs, man. Either you gonna win or you gonna lose. But you got a ball. So last game, K had 8 turnovers, but he had a triple-double as well. Almost had a quadruple-double. But I believe they play tonight in Cleveland. I want to see can the Cavs do it again. Can they do it again? Can they defend their home court? This is the first home court game. So now it's time to adjust. Let's see who adjusts better. And to be quite frankly, I don't know if the Cavs can do it again. I don't believe in this team. After what I've been seeing, I just don't. But anything can happen, man. We seen 2 teams come back 3-1. Another team came back 2-1. So, yeah. Let's see what y'all gonna do, Cavs, man. It's gonna be tough. Because y'all just got them out the way. You know, they're gonna bring that physicality. Let's see. Next, let's talk about this one here. Is OKC better this year than they were last year? Now, one thing I do want to say is I expect them to have Jalen Williams by the finals. But to be quite honest, they're going to need him if they got to go against the Spurs. They're going to need him. But I think he will be back. They said, let's see if he's going to, if he's playing tonight. So today, Jalen Williams probably won't play. If they get this sweep, and if the Timberwolves and the Spurs series go 7, that's the rest they're going to need to have him ready. Now, this team still led by SGA, smooth operator himself. Hey, listen, I want to give a shout out to Joe because I remember we had a debate between him and Luka. He shout out Luka a lot, but SJ might be his favorite player right now for how much my boy be talking about him, man. That just might be my boy favorite player right now. What'd you call him, Joe? Sega. Hey, the boy a bucket. Been trying to tell everybody. I think this team is better though this year, bro. When you add back Jalen Williams, you know what makes them better? Two players. AJ Mitchell and McCain. You get some young studs that can play like that. Come on, man. These 2 dudes, they don't just score, but they're they relieve SGA from having the ball handle. Like once he's out the game, they have 2 ball handlers out there if they want. Certified. AJ Mitchell just had 24 and 10. So I think they're a little deeper this year because of those 2 guys. When Philly traded McCain to them, I said, what are they doing? This man has been 8. I think he's shot 8 from 11 from 3 in this series off the bench. And he got his little showboat joint. Got the whole crowd doing it. But I think this team is a little better because, like I said, they got more ball handlers. And that's one thing you need, especially in the playoffs when guys trying to rough you up, team try to push the tempo on you defensively. You need guys that can handle that pressure, that's going to get guys involved and can get their own bucket. And that's AJ Mitchell and Jared McCain. I think Jared McCain is more of just a scorer, to be honest. And Mitchell he can do a little bit of both. Not saying, Bro can't do both. I'm just saying. But I think this team is slightly better than last year. Everybody has that last year experience. SGA is a little banged up, but who isn't? They get Jalen Williams back. The way this team playing, man, it's going to be very, very interesting. I think this team is better than last year. I think they're about to sweep the Lakers. Speaking of the Lakers, I'm going to just say this about the Lakers. I don't have much to say about them because I know they wasn't going to do nothing. I just said it. If you got a soft big man, you're not going to win against a team like OKC. If you just got soft players, period, you're not going to win. If you're going to keep complaining to the refs because they're getting physical with you, now listen, I never made it to the league. You know what I'm saying? I never played D1 basketball. I played a little JUCO. I played against overseas players and things of that nature in street ball leagues. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same. It is not. I know that when you're playing physical basketball, and not just how you play, the refs are going to allow you to be physical because that's how you play. Like, I remember watching an OKC game, and when Austin Reeves went up, and Hartenstein just had his hands up, but Austin Reeves kind of brought his arm through his arm. He was looking for the call. You're not going to get that, bro. Like, you're trying to force a foul and he just putting his hands up. I just hate the fact that these guys cry so much for calls, man. OKC beat the brakes off them boys shooting 10 free throws. What y'all crying about now? LeBron, dog. You a legend. But the crying gotta stop, bro. Like you have temper tantrums on the court, bro. That's just it's sad to me, to be quite honest. And Austin Reeves, not Rivers, Mr. Second Option. Everybody say, LeBron should be the third option. I mean, what are we talking about? What you mean? Austin Reeves can't do nothing better than LeBron for real, but shoot probably. What? Dribble? I can dribble. I can ball handle. What else on offense? Yeah, bro. If you give Austin Reeves his own team and give Bron his own team, he not averaging more than Bron, bro. Y'all tripping. Never been that. Bron's still the best passer on that team. Got the highest IQ on that team, and he's the most versatile player on that team. So it's just showing you that Austin Reeves is a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he needs another one or two dominant players beside him to truly be that effective in the playoffs, especially against a team like OKC. When they got guys pressing you full court, getting up in your chest, it's a little different over there. So I think that DeAndre Ayton's soft. You're not going to beat them with a guy like that. And I don't think they have enough players over there playing hard enough to beat this team. They just don't got enough. This team is just too good. It is. Like, they just too good. It is what it is, man. But I think this OKC team is here to dominate the league for some years. Only team that I can see really getting at them out the West is the Spurs, because it ain't just Wemby. They got a really good team over there. A lot of people want to try to say, always talk about Wemby, but this team is pretty good. They've been building a pretty good team over the years. If you've been watching RBO, I've been telling y'all how this team has been building, and you see what's going on. Speaking of the Spurs, let's talk about Wemby versus Ant-Man. And this, thanks to everybody that's still watching, we're on our last topic. And this series has been pretty fun, man. I want to speak on these two first right quick. Ant-Man fighting back from injury. Most guys wouldn't have made it back. Most guys wouldn't even try to make it back. To be quite honest, Ant-Man is back. His first couple games, I think he had 22 the first game, only coming off the bench. Came off the bench the first two games. They won the first game, and then Spurs ended up winning 2 straight. And then this last game, all series you see a lot of physicality towards Wemby. Dudes grabbing him, dudes pushing him, dudes bumping him. All type of stuff. I mean, what are you supposed to do? He's 7'8". You're going to get physical. And that's the one thing I wanted to see how he responded to in the playoffs is when teams got real physical with him. What was he going to do? And to be honest, I thought what he did was a sucker move. Elbowing a guy in the face like that. I thought that was a sucker move. It's like you can't handle the physicality? It's crazy. It is really crazy. So let's see what happens when both of these guys are on the floor. I was very shocked to find out that he did not get suspended a game, knowing that the league is pushing towards Wemby being that guy. Everybody loves Wemby. Everybody want to see Wemby. Everybody this and that. Everybody that. He's something we never seen before, which is facts. He does it all. But I thought that was a sucker move because if you can't handle the physicality, bro, you want to throw bows, you gotta get your suspension. They gotta discipline you because that's not basketball. Like I could see if it was just like no, he literally boom. It looked very, very intentional. He knew exactly what he was doing. And that's how guys can really get hurt out there. You're trying to protect a guy that's an up and coming superstar rather than guys like safety. I think that's what Kendrick Big Perk said. He said, he didn't like it because he felt like they're putting superstardom before a player's health. And that's true though, man. Just because you're a star don't mean you can do things like that. But Wemby versus Ant-Man, this started in the All-Star break. In the locker. I mean, in the the hall before they come out, the tunnel. Wemby told Ant, he like, yo, I'm matching up with you. Ant said, let's get it. Even Ant's like, yo, Wemby come out here setting the tone. And it's the same thing, man. These two are going at it. Ant-Man, last game, closed them boys out. The last game Wemby played, he closed them boys out. So that's one thing I liked about Wemby game. I like the fact that I saw that he was doing that fadeaway that he got from the King, showing us that he has some type of go-to move that he can go to late in games. Because early in the season, he was shooting a lot of threes. And it's like, come on, Wemby. You ain't that's not gonna fly in the playoffs. He's definitely getting to his spots a little bit more, but he's gonna have to get a little stronger because teams are definitely able to push him around. And that's not good, especially if you're the center. Like you can't be a center getting pushed around by the guards. So I think that this is a really good series. Next game, I think Timberwolves. No. Spurs at home. I do think the Spurs will probably get at them because Wemby gonna be back. But in the next game, I can see it going either way. I really want to see a game 7 because I want to see how Wemby performs under pressure. And I'm not saying he shies away because I like Wemby. I like his competitiveness. Like when I was watching a commercial, him and what's her name? I think it's Shanae. They was playing 2K, and he was very, very competitive. He said, "Nah, run." He lost. He said, "Nah, run it back." And I love that, man. I love just a competitive, fiery player, and that's what Wemby is. But he's gonna have to bulk up because one thing I'm noticing in this series is when Rudy and him, Jala got a bang. Rudy gets the best of him, but on defense, he doesn't have to work as hard against a Rudy because all Rudy do is stand by the paint. Like he literally goes side to side from baseline, like looking for lobs, putbacks, dump offs. It's not really testing Wemby's defense, in my opinion. Like I want to see him check a big man that's like that. The big man make a pass, then he go block that. Like I want to see that, not you just coming off help side because you checking Rudy Gobert. You know, not saying you can't block. That's one thing you're gonna be able to do for a long time is block shots. But I want to see how Wemby responds because he didn't even know what a flagrant 2 was. He had to ask Harrison Barnes what it was. I want to know what Wemby gonna do next game and what Anthony Edwards gonna do because these are two fiery young stars, and they gonna get after it. And I heard Ant-Man tell Dylan Harper Jr., you know, they was chirping at each other. He said, "Hey, if my legs is healthy, you would have been got dunked on." And I believe it. Like Ant-Man is that dude. I like Ant-Man a lot. Cade Cunningham, I had a thing when I said he got a little more upside, and I'm sticking to that. I'm sticking to it. Sticking. There's no knock on Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man is legit. Certified bucket getter. When you need a bucket, Ant-Man's the guy. Is that all of them? I think that's all of them, man. So tonight we have Cavs versus the Knicks. Let's see what this come on. Come on, Peacock. I don't know. I gotta find somebody with NBC or Peacock. And then we got the Thunder and the Lakers on Prime tonight. Will the Lakers be done tonight? I think they will. Can the Cavs do it again? I don't have faith in them doing it again. But, you know, I don't really think that Pistons team is that experienced. You know, you still see their inexperience at times when they play. And I just don't think they're that good, to be honest. I don't think they got the players that just going to do it. You know, if James Harden stops turning the ball over and start making couple plays, you know, they going to get it. So that's all I got for y'all today, man. I want to see these games tonight, man. The Pistons and the Cavs, the Knicks are sitting back, just chilling, waiting on them boys. And then you got the Thunder looking to close out the Lakers tonight. And if they do, they'll be waiting on that winner between the Spurs and the Timberwolves, which is getting pretty heated and chippy over there. But before you go, like, subscribe, share this video with anybody that love basketball, man. That just, you know, if you want to come on the show, holler at your boy. You know, I invite mostly all guests. I just gotta know you know a little something about basketball. I want you coming on here talking that hoo-ha. But this has been a very good playoff so far. I like the competitiveness. You know, that first round, the Magic versus the Pistons, those two teams was going hard on defense. And I think it set the tone for the playoffs, you know. And not saying every game gonna be that tough, but throughout the first series, I watched like every single game. And it made me think about the old days. So let's see if Cade, you know, can cut down them turnovers. He had 8 turnovers last game. Let's see if he can cut down those turnovers and see what they can do, man. If Mobley and Jared Allen, who was a no-show last game, don't come to play, it opens the door up for the Pistons. Those two dudes, if they dominate, I don't see the Pistons even keeping up with them, to be honest, because Tobias Harris, come on, man. Had a good series against my Magic. I mean, he always do good against us. We used to have him. We got rid of him. It's a little personal. I get it. I feel it. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all today, man. Please come back and holler at your boy. We will be going live again. If you subscribe, you will know when. Follow me on Instagram, real.only.ballers@yahoo.com. And we can also talk there as well. So that's all I got for y'all today, though. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this with anybody. Also, look down low on the link to become a member and check out all the different shows. We got boxing, baseball, college sports, a little bit of everything for you guys. So definitely tune in with that. And you know your boy coming back. It's the playoffs. The real ballers got a ball.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, And also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.